Okay, we should probably explain what we're doing.
Yeah, I think so. So we sorry, I wasn't prepared for us to like just start talking as if we're on a show. So there's
That's why
this,
you never leave that voice. You always talk like you have an audience.
Yeah, always project, even in very mundane situations.
We can restart.
Maybe we should, just because I've been rambling on so long. I don't know.
I'll explain. Since you're fumbling hard.
All right, go ahead. You go and explain.
All right, so me and Ben were coming up with ideas for what we were going to do for the show, and we had this one idea that we really liked that kind of morphed and grew like a snowball going down a hill, becoming a bigger snowball. So
you say we came up with this idea. We stole this from our friends, which I participated in. There's the manga mashup, which we have dubbed it, where one person draws a page or a panel of comic. It kind of varies in length. And then the next person has to draw the next page without any idea of what's supposed to come next. They kind of form the story. It's an improv comic challenge, basically.
Mm-hmm. And so me and Ben, we got talking about how we would do it. And we decided that we wanted to make this manga mashup thing happen on Twitter. Yeah. And so that's where we're going to post it. And this whole thing was ridiculous because we wanted to do this so that we could make a video about it. And here we are making a video prior to doing it. But the reason is because we wanted to, we drew the characters. That's what you're looking at. This is a character that we designed for this idea, and Ben has the other one, 2 leads of the story, if you will. And
yeah, we thought of a premise. The rest is going to be improv, and so we're kind of establishing a baseline here. That's what this video is.
Pretty much. After this, me and him are not going to collaborate. We're just going to go in and react to each other and see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a really fun idea.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
We'll probably include like a link to the tweet that houses this comic in the description.
Yeah, that'd be a
below.
good idea. A pinned comment.
Go check it out. By the time this video airs, hopefully there will be at least 2 or 3 replies to it.
Hopefully. I'm looking at your drawing. I saw a few different versions of it because you kept testing them out against our friend group. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that your first angle was a Princess Peach like angle.
It was Princess Peach hair. It was so big too. I ended up not going in that direction. I try about 15 more hairstyles. Some of them only last for like half a second though. So you'll have to like pause the video to really catch those. This is a mermaid. Her name is Ember. We basically looked at a list of Ben's OCs and we grabbed 2 that stood out to me, and then that ended up being this character Ember, who resembles nothing of what I do here, but she was the spark that like made the idea. And then this other character, which you'll see when Ben's drawing plays on the screen, that named Nata, which apparently was a part of a video game that Ben was working on.
I recycle all my OCs for various things whenever one project fails. So yes, she's definitely been part of a video game at some point in her lifespan.
Yeah, you said that project's probably never going to come to fruition, so we're good to use her.
Yep.
Ember, in her initial incarnation in Ben's OC roster, she was very cute, had some glasses, some hair stuffs, accessories, and I latched onto that because it contrasted nicely with Nata, who was kind of like, looked like she always needs coffee early in the morning.
Yeah, very tired. That's the energy that Nata provides.
But the only thing that really survived from that initial Ember sketch was like her personality in my head.
Yeah, you immediately deviated quite a lot. I mean, first of all, Ember didn't start out as a mermaid. That kind of took hold later.
It's true.
And then you're like, what if we changed everything else as well?
Yeah. I have a tendency to be a leaf blower in creative projects. And what I mean by a leaf blower is I come in and I blow everything we've written down off the table and say, let's start new.
You make a lot of noise and you upset the neighbors.
Yeah. I was researching names and I was looking at a list of like nautical names on Wikipedia, and this is how we like ended up going in this direction of it being a whole story about a boat crew of some kind, and we came up
sort
with
of nautical theme.
Yeah,
we're keeping it as vague as possible so we can sidestep each other, but
we have no idea what we're going to do with it. We just know that it's going to be kind of nautical.
Yep.
So expect water, maybe? I don't know.
I need to learn how to draw water then. That's probably a good first step.
You'll be a master at drawing water soon.
Oh, great. But you were looking up a list of all these nautical terms on Wikipedia, and all of them are so unique and interesting and good, like, terms, like, because, you know, every cool, like, you know, fantasy-ish story or anything with a different type of world has these unique terms to it.
Mm-hmm.
And nautical terms are just perfect for that. You can just steal those because nobody seems to know them. I didn't know them.
It was impressing me, like, exactly how many of them could be used as names or like code names.
Yeah.
So we actually ended up using one of them as the title of the comic book, which is cat paws. And the reason that was so perfect is because Nada, who you haven't seen yet, is kind of a cat girl.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I gave her cat ears and a cat nose, so.
Yeah,
but otherwise human. Is very much on the human end of the anthropomorphic scale.
Yeah, and cat paws, if you aren't a sailor, it means light, unpredictable wind buffeting the boat, and that just seems to capture that perfect, like, chaotic energy that I think this comic is going to be.
Yeah, it kind of has like a slice of life kind of feel to it. It's like unpredictable, but, you know, just like easygoing still. It'll
be a light read, and you won't know where it's going. So cat paws and Ember. I love this character idea. She is a mermaid that has fire powers.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely, by the way, just then I reduced the boobs in size.
Oh, how dare you. That's not going to win any viewers for our comic.
They were too big. They're still on the big side.
I've seen a lot bigger, and I've seen them get a lot more popular for it, so I'm going to have to disagree.
That's why I made them so big. I'm like, I want people who see this to click on it and read it. And what works on Twitter is, you know, pretty girls with huge boobs.
Let's face it.
But they were throwing off their perspective for me. Like they were so big that they were kind of the same size as her head, and it made it seem like she was laying completely flat instead of like slightly leaning forward.
I can mess with the perception a bit.
Yeah, I was talking about something before I got derailed by the
mermaid with fire powers. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah, mermaid with fire powers. You know, that's a fun power for a mermaid to have because it's completely useless in her natural habitat underwater.
Yeah.
And so she has to go to the surface to realize her true potential and live her best life. And I love it because she is literally a fish out of water. Which is right at home for cat paws.
I love oxymoronic like power systems and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like just it hits right where I like it. So I'm glad you came up. I think you came up with that portion of it. So
I believe so. I have a headcanon where she accidentally kills the lobster that her father sent to follow her around.
Accidentally boiled him alive.
Yeah. And she has no idea that she has fire powers until like later on, and she goes to the surface and like accidentally uses them and like sees like a big jet of flame come out of her, and she's like, whoa. So that's what I've been doing this whole time.
It would also be like fun, like just bubbles and stuff underwater, so it would look very different.
Man, I struggled with these scales quite a bit. I try a few things to like, because while I was drawing this, I was thinking this needs to be easy to draw all the time. And
you know what I'm gonna do when it's my turn to draw her? I'm just going to have like a couple scales in just random spots, and that will just imply that the whole thing is scaly.
Hey, you do you. I'll probably try a few different things. Eventually I caved in and I just drew all the lines.
Wow, that's a lot of lines.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting to see like your style mixed in with ours and how we interpret each other's characters.
Yeah, that is a big part of the fun. So getting back into what we did beforehand, it's me and two other friends. All three of us had comics running with each other. So me and my one friend Chad, who's been on the show, me and my one friend Tyler, who's not been on the show, and Chad and Tyler were all we were making 3 comics in that triangle there. And we would always swerve each other, which I'm hoping to do for this one. We would always have plot twists and stuff that we wouldn't have to deal with the fallout of. We'd push it off onto the other when it was time to figure out the reasoning and logic behind it.
You wrote the first page, right?
Did I?
I believe so. Somebody wrote the first page, and then Chad came in with the second.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, because I showed you one of them as an example. And yeah, okay, yeah, I set up like a city or something like that.
It's so good.
I called it New Chad City. And the first thing he does with his turn is say the main character's goal is to destroy New Chad City. So it's kind of just that vibe. I'll post this on screen.
Yeah, it's very contradictory.
I introduce a dog mascot, and he immediately shuts it down and has someone kill the dog mascot.
I don't plan to be that contrarian.
He wasn't yes-anding quite as much as I would have hoped.
It did make for some very funny panels.
Very much. And it's been like 8 years since we've done it, and so we've improved at art a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing some actual like stuff that looks like comics with as much ridiculousness as we've had. Oh man, it'll be so much fun.
I could not decide on a color scheme for this character or a hairstyle.
Yeah, you were polling like every group I could imagine. Like you went to Twitter with it, you went to our friend group. I'm sure you probably went to 1 or 2 other places.
Yeah.
Just like seeing, okay, what works here? Pink or yellow or blue or whatever.
People are not as helpful as you would expect.
People don't know what they want.
That's pretty much
for the artist to decide.
I feel like if somebody asked me like, what do you like? I would give them an answer and like, my reason why. But like whenever I ask someone,
I don't know what I want.
By the way, her hairstyle changes yet again. So
yeah, you rendered it all and it's gonna change again.
Yeah. I think I actually kind of like what it is right now. I think I just colored it badly. This is way more of like the princess vibe that I wanted to give her. Yeah, but I do like the final hair.
I can kind of see it. I don't like hair that poofs up so much because I mean that's kind of like an old-fashioned thing anyway. But it feels very. I'm not a huge fan of it, so I'm glad you changed it. Frankly, I think this looks awful.
Well, thank you for encouraging my decisions.
I'm getting sick, and I meant that to sound more sarcastic. I don't want you to think that's genuine.
I know. We'll have the audience weigh in. Let me know what hairstyle was your favorite.
Yeah, 1 through 20. Which one? Oh man, I'm just like I didn't pay attention much to the background, but man, the foamy shores and all that looks pretty good.
Thank you. This was actually like a hassle because I did not have it all in like multiple layers, so I had to recreate her head and then repaint in the skin.
Oh, yeah, that's why you work on different layers for everything.
I did for like everything else. But when you think that you have the hair that you are going to go all the way with, that's true. You trust it.
I guess rather than saying work on different layers, it's to do lots of sketch layers first. That's the lesson we should take away from this.
Yeah. But
yeah, I think the final look is good. I like the short hair look in general. So I will be eager to draw this myself.
I really like the well, I don't know how you say the word, the bustier for the boobs, because it was like my one stroke of genius. I was thinking to myself, what conveys fire powers? And I thought of flamethrowers and like big lighters, and they all have like those little cutouts in the metal. And I thought, well, I could do something with that. And then I thought, well, where would a mermaid even have that? And of course, mermaids always have like seashell bras. And I thought I'll just replace that with the metal thing. And I did it in my sketchbook, initially. And I'm like, oh my God, it works. And then I did it for reals.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're getting at. Yeah, because I wasn't sure what you meant by that at first, but then, okay, yeah, because I do remember like flamethrowers having those kind of.
It's a little concerning that you didn't immediately pick up on that, but I sent it to a friend and they did. So I'm 50% so far.
But what, just that it's supposed to, I don't know, it just has holes in it. What am I supposed to, you're expecting too much from me.
Yeah. Well, it's, design, a good design immediately conveys like all the information you need.
Yeah, I still think it's good. Don't go saying that I think it's bad.
Okay.
All right. We've mentioned Nada a couple times now. Nada is a cat-ish person, probably. And I always draw her very tired and with the kind of just in the same way every time. Very simplified, cartoony style.
I really like her hair. I like the bangs. She kind of reminds me of that character from Breakfast Club.
Oh yeah, the kind of the goth girl just kind of vibes. It's just, and I normally draw her in a sweater, but since we're going nautical theme, I thought I should go with a kind of a captain's look.
Ooh, I like that vest. I know you don't end up with it, but that was cool.
Yeah.
The sash.
Yeah, I couldn't think of. I couldn't pull it off though. Maybe I'll change things around later because I like all of those things, but I wanted her to seem really gritty because she wouldn't care about how she looked. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll make a vest and have it look torn up and stuff, but it just didn't work.
You could put the sash around her waist, but then you wouldn't get the midriff that I know that you like.
Don't call me out like that.
I don't have to. You put a list of everything you like up last episode.
Oh yeah, that's true. I can't run away from it anymore.
So I know we're not supposed to collaborate, but is she going to be like the captain? She looks like the captain.
That was the assumption I think going in, is that she was like the captain of a ship, or at least someone on deck. And then there's a mermaid involved. So, I kind of gave her a captain role.
That's awesome. I like it. It immediately puts them into an imbalance of power.
Yeah.
The little mermaid's gonna have to really try to prove herself, But the captain's like this. She's just not easily impressed. Look at those eyes.
You think you're gonna impress those eyes? No.
They've seen so much.
And I entirely stole this coat and general pose from, actually it's a Pokemon character called Drake. He's one of the Elite Four, I think, in Gen 3. But he's totally forgettable in that game, but I like his coat, so I stole it.
When you said it was a Pokemon character, I assumed it was a Pokemon. And I was like, what? There's a Pokemon named Drake? And they wear a coat?
Yeah.
I remember
Drake, it evolves from Josh.
My Pokemon knowledge stops after like Gen 1.
That's fair.
I know the first 150, and I know a few from Ruby and Sapphire. After that...
Sapphire?
Sure. I played Ruby.
Okay. So you probably saw Drake if you beat the game.
I mean, I don't remember a Drake. He must have not been very impressive.
He wasn't. He very much wasn't. But I liked his coat.
It's a nice coat. I love high colors. That's one of my things.
Yeah.
The rest of this crew that we draw is going to be interesting, though, because we have nothing for them, so we're just going to have to roll with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like design them on the spot kind of challenge, which I excel in. I'm not sure how well you do with it.
It's not something I typically do. I mean, you saw me agonize over making one character. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Most of my characters have to like percolate in my brain for months before I unveil them.
That's true. That's the dichotomy. We've mentioned it already in our past episode. Go watch that one, by the way, if you want to hear more. But in general, I just make OCs left and right, and I'm just like, yep, that's it. That's them. They're done. They're finished. I like it.
It'll be fun. Who knows? Maybe I'll be the one that gets really crazy. I'm thinking T-Rex.
Ooh, that would be pretty crazy.
maybe
barely fit on a boat. Yeah.
Maybe the boat's a giant turtle, and their boat is on top of the turtle.
You're revealing all your ideas to me.
Well, maybe I won't go that way.
Yeah, maybe the premise of this episode is for us to not think of cool ideas. Maybe we should just think of cool ideas.
I don't want to be super strict about like not talking about it, but if I say something, it's probably I'm not going to do that because I've said it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fair. So we can think of fun stuff. But yeah, we were talking about like maybe you could have just a bunch of different types of animal people on board, because there's like a lot of animal-y terms in that list that you found, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch. I can't think of anything off the top of my head except like dog vane.
Yeah, it's like a weather vane for dogs.
Yeah. So that's Nada, captain of the boat that has not yet been named.
Not yet. Think of a name in the comments and we'll use it. Actually, guaranteed. We won't, because we probably won't, because hopefully some of the comic will have come out by the time we release this video.
That's true. This video's not coming out for a little while, so me and you got some a head start.
But how about this? We'll promise that we will, even if it's a bit late, any ideas thrown out in the comments, we'll try to incorporate them. How that?
Absolutely. Like, just leave a comment, man. We begged last time. We're gonna beg again.
We got one more comment than usual last time. Let's see if we can up it to 2.
We need a new high score.
Absolutely. Yeah, the end of each episode is just going to devolve into us begging you until you give us what we want.
Yeah, and then after we make this comic, we want to come back and we want to make a video about the comic and what happened and the directions it went in. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that video.
Yeah, I very much am. I love making comics, but I also love having made comics and just being able to sit back and say, you know what? That's good. I like this. I don't have to work on it anymore.
So you guys need to make it happen by liking this video, leaving comments, following us on Twitter, liking the Twitter thread, giving us feedback so we don't quit.
Sharing with your friends, giving us money. We don't have a Patreon yet, but just save up those dollars. You'll need them.
I don't even think we qualify for Google AdSense.
We definitely don't.
What are we missing? Is it the watch time?
Both, by a lot. Okay. We need, I think, 1,000 subscribers and 2,000 hours of watch time a month or something.
Oh, I thought it was just like a flat number that you needed to reach for the watch time.
No, I don't think so. I think it's the watch time over a certain period of time.
So we're nowhere close, huh?
Nope.
All right. Well, on that depressing note, I think it's time to end.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Ben's gonna talk now that it's the end of the video. If you like subscribing, press subscribe. If you like liking, press like. If you comment, comment. Patreon, the end.